Welcome back to the Romper Room. Today, we're continuing our Run Deep in Poker Tournament series.
Oh, yeah.
And a special shout out to Alex Cantu for diving in with us.
Right on, Alex.
Remember Alex?
Yeah.
This whole series is about equipping you with the tools to dominate those no-limit hold'em tournaments.
Yeah, helping you crush it.
And in this episode, we're taking you deep into Kill Everyone, a book by Lee Nelson, Tysen Streib, and Steven Heston, with annotations by Bertrand, Elky, Grospellier.
Oh, wow.
Talk about a poker brain trust.
Definitely some serious poker minds there.
Some serious firepower.
It's a fantastic book, and what I find particularly interesting is how it directly addresses the evolution of poker. They make this clear distinction between new school and old school strategies, showing how the game has transformed over time.
Okay, so let's break down this new school versus old school thing.
Yeah, let's get into it.
The book tells a story about Alan Goring, a top player known for playing super tight. Only big hands for him back in the day.
Yeah, old school.
But as poker evolved, players realized his predictability could be exploited.
Exactly. And this is a key takeaway for you, Alex. You can't just assume your opponents will play predictably based on those old school ideas.
Right.
You need to think about how your plays are perceived in today's game. Kill Everyone is all about adapting and staying ahead of the curve.
Okay, adapting and staying ahead of the curve. So it's not enough to have a strong hand. You need to understand how your opponents perceive your style. What other new school wisdom can we pull out of Kill Everyone?
Well, they really dive into the art of blind stealing, which is more nuanced than just playing any two cards, especially in the early stages. You don't want to risk a big chunk of your stack with junk.
Makes sense. Got to protect those chips early on. But how do we steal those blinds effectively without great cards?
That's a good question. That's where understanding fold equity comes in, basically. It's the idea of making bets that force your opponents to fold, even if you don't have the best hand. They use a great example from the 2006 Aussie Millions main event to illustrate this.
Oh, I remember that one. It involves someone we know, Kopkov, sitting under the gun with 7-6 offsuit.
Yeah.
Maybe you could walk Alex through what happened.
Oh, yeah, that was a classic. Absolutely. You raised pre-flop, and surprisingly, 4 players called. The flop came king high with 2 diamonds, and you had nothing. But then you made a massive bluff, betting nearly your entire stack.
It was a bold move, that's for sure. But the key here, Alex, is understanding why it worked. My opponent was so intimidated by the size of the bet that they folded, even though they might have had me beat. That's fold equity in action.
Exactly. It was a great example of calculated aggression and understanding the psychology of your opponents. Now, this doesn't mean you should go all in every hand, Alex, but Kill Everyone really emphasizes how the size of your bets and the timing of your aggression can influence your opponent's decisions.
So, we're seeing a theme here: adaptability, calculated aggression, and really understanding what makes your opponents tick. What else does Kill Everyone have in store for us on this front?
Let's see. Well, they dedicate a significant portion of the book to exploiting weaknesses and the importance of observation. They categorize players by their tendencies, like weak, tight players who play by the book and fold easily. These are the players you can really exploit.
Okay, so it's almost like being a poker detective. Right. We need to observe our opponents, pick up on their patterns, and adjust our strategy accordingly.
Exactly.
It's like Sherlock Holmes at the poker table.
Exactly. And they even mention Daniel Negreanu as a master of reading opponents. They highlight his ability to analyze betting patterns, reactions, and even conversations to gain an edge. So, Alex, take note. Every detail matters.
Got it. Every detail matters. All right, so we've talked about adapting to the evolving game, mastering blind stealing, and becoming poker detectives to exploit weaknesses. Now, Kill Everyone takes us deep into endgame strategy, introducing concepts like CPR and CSI. Don't worry, Alex, we're not talking about medical dramas here.
Yeah, no stethoscopes required.
No, no stethoscopes.
Yeah. Right. Think of CPR, or cost per round, like your poker tournament fuel gauge, Alex. It tells you how many hands you can afford to play passively before you're forced to make a move based on the blinds and antes.
Okay, CPR, the fuel gauge. And what about CSI?
Ah, yes, CSI. Or Chip Status Index gives you a more detailed picture of your position relative to the blinds and antes. Kill Everyone really drives home the point that these metrics become crucial as the tournament progresses.
Okay, so as the stakes get higher, these metrics become even more important.
Absolutely. The game fundamentally changes in the later stages. As blinds increase, your chipped value fluctuates, and a play that's great early on could be disastrous later. Kill everyone helps you understand these shifting dynamics.
I see. It's like the whole game changes
It really does.
as you get deeper into a tournament.
For sure.
So kill everyone gives you a roadmap for navigating those later stages.
It does. It's a valuable tool for any serious tournament player.
All right. So we've covered a lot of ground here, but kill everyone has even more to offer. Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll dive into concepts like the bubble factor, playing styles, and the all-important mental game.
Oh, yeah. The mental game is key.
Absolutely. We'll be right back after a quick break.
And as we get deeper into these tournaments, Alex, one of the most crucial concepts to understand is the bubble. It's that nerve-wracking point where making the money suddenly becomes the primary focus for a lot of players.
Yeah, the bubble can be a real game changer. And Kill Everyone dives into the strategic complexities of navigating this phase, introducing the idea of the bubble factor.
Right, the bubble factor essentially measures the risk versus reward when you're thinking about going all in near the bubble. It's not as simple as just looking at pot odds like you would in a cash game.
So it's not just about the immediate math of the hand.
Exactly. In tournaments, chips have a different kind of value. Remember, Alex reaching the money significantly impacts the game both psychologically and strategically.
Because those chips suddenly represent a real cash prize.
Exactly, and Kill Everyone breaks it down even further, showing how bubble factors can differ in Sit-n-Gos, SNGs, and multi-table tournaments, MTTs. The structure of the tournament changes the dynamics.
So the bubble factor might be higher in a small SNG than in a massive MTT.
That's right. Players in SNGs might be even more hesitant to risk their tournament life near the bubble, making it potentially more profitable to apply pressure. Kill Everyone gives you the tools to recognize these subtle differences and adjust your strategy accordingly.
So understanding the bubble factor is like having an extra weapon in your arsenal, especially as you get closer to those money spots now. Once we're past the bubble and deeper into a tournament, Kill Everyone delves into 2 primary playing styles, small ball and long ball.
This is where things get really strategic. Think of small ball as the patient grinding approach, Alex. It's all about gradually building your stack, picking up small pots, and avoiding big confrontations unless you have a very strong hand.
Okay, so small ball is all about minimizing risk and maximizing those small wins. What about long ball? That sounds a bit more, exciting.
Long ball is definitely the higher risk, higher reward approach. It's about leveraging your chips to create fold equity, making big moves, and accumulating chips quickly.
So would you say there's a right way to play small ball or long ball?
That's the beauty of Kill Everyone. They don't try to force a single style on you. They argue that both can be effective depending on your personality, your opponent's tendencies, and the specific situation.
So it's all about choosing the right tool for the job. Which reminds me, the book also dedicates a lot of attention to the mental game, something that's often overlooked in poker.
Absolutely. Tournaments can be grueling marathons. Alex in Kill Everyone emphasizes the importance of stamina focus and emotional control. They even delve into some surprising areas like diet and supplements.
Wait, diet and supplements for poker. Tell me more.
They actually recommend a book called Prostate Cancer Prevention and Cure by Dr. Steven Streib, while the focus is on health. It also has great info on nutrition and supplements that can boost brain function.
So they're talking about optimizing our mental performance, like athletes would too. I've experimented with supplements myself and noticed a difference, especially when it comes to maintaining focus during those long sessions.
It makes perfect sense. When you're playing for hours, your brain needs the right fuel to stay sharp. Kill 'em all, everyone reminds us that taking care of our physical and mental health is crucial for peak poker performance.
It's like training for any competition you need to be in top shape mentally and physically. Now, speaking of mental focus, the book also touches on the concept of Zen and how it applies to poker.
Right. They draw a parallel between the Zen state of no mind, that pure focus and awareness, and the mental clarity you need to excel at the poker table.
So it's about quieting those inner voices, blocking out distractions, and staying fully present in the moment.
Exactly. They argue that cultivating this Zen-like mindset can enhance your observation skills, improve your emotional control, and ultimately lead to better decision-making.
So it's not just about the cards, it's about mastering your inner game as well. Now, Kill Everyone doesn't shy away from some of the more debated topics in poker, like the use of iPods during tournaments.
Yeah, that's always a hot topic, and Kill Everyone takes a balanced approach. They acknowledge the potential benefits of using music to block distractions and create focus, but
There's a downside, right? Like missing crucial table talk or getting so caught up in a song that you miss a bet.
exactly. They emphasize being aware of both the advantages and disadvantages of using an iPod.
So it's about making an informed decision based on your own preferences and playing style. Now, speaking of reading your opponents, Kill Everyone Also delves into the fascinating world of tells.
Yes, the secret language of poker. And they offer a crash course in tell spotting covering everything from chip tells to betting patterns to verbal cues. Remember, Alex, it's not about looking for a single gesture. It's about noticing deviations from a player's baseline behavior.
So if a player who's usually very quiet suddenly becomes chatty when they have a strong hand, that's a tell.
Exactly, and they use Daniel Negreanu yet again as a prime example of someone who's mastered this art. He's incredibly skilled at picking up on those subtle cues and using them to his advantage.
It's like he has a sixth sense for reading people. Now, one thing that really struck me about Kill Everyone is its emphasis on preparation. They dedicate a whole chapter to getting ready for a tournament, covering everything from travel tips to diet to mental exercises.
It's a holistic approach, Alex. They understand that tournament poker is a marathon, not a sprint to perform at your best. You need to be prepared for the long haul.
It's about creating the optimal conditions for success, both physically and mentally. Now, while Kill Everyone focuses heavily on strategy, skill, and preparation. It also acknowledges the role of luck in poker, something we can't ignore.
Right, because even if you play perfectly, you can still get hit by a bad beat and kill everyone. Doesn't sugarcoat this reality. They acknowledge that luck is a factor, but emphasize that focusing too much on it can be detrimental.
So it's about accepting that bad beats happen, but not letting them control your mindset or your decisions.
Exactly. They encourage focusing on what you can control. Your strategy, your preparation, your mental game, by consistently making good decisions and maximizing your edge. You increase your chances of success, even if you encounter some bad luck along the way.
It's about playing the long game and trusting the process. Now there's one more. Kill Everyone. Gem.
Yeah.
I want to highlight before we wrap up part 2, they have a fascinating section on recognizing and exploiting your opponent's mistakes.
This is where things get really interesting. Sometimes the best way to exploit a mistake isn't to raise or be overly aggressive. Kill. Everyone argues that sometimes simply calling, even if you suspect you might be behind, can be the most profitable play.
It sounds counterintuitive. Why would we just call re-audio when we think our opponent might be bluffing?
Well, the idea is that by simply calling you, allow your opponent to continue making mistakes. They might keep betting, bloating the pot, and ultimately giving you a chance to win a much larger amount than if you had tried to force them all in earlier.
Oh, so it's like setting a trap.
Exactly. Kill Everyone gives a great example of this from a high-stakes tournament. One player had a strong hand but was clearly overplaying it instead of raising and trying to end the hand right there. His opponent simply called, letting him keep betting and building the pot.
I'm guessing the patient caller ended up winning a monster pot.
You got it.
Yeah.
He recognized his opponent's mistake and exploited it by giving him enough rope to hang himself. It's a reminder that understanding poker psychology and recognizing those betting patterns can lead to some unconventional but highly profitable plays.
So Alex, as we wrap up this deep dive into Kill Everyone, what are some of the key takeaways that you can apply to your own game? We've covered a lot of ground here, from new school versus old school strategies to blind stealing to the mental game to exploiting weaknesses.
Well, for me, one of the biggest takeaways is the importance of adaptability. The game is always evolving, and we need to be willing to adjust our strategies, study our opponents, and stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah, Kill Everyone really challenges the idea that there's one right way to play poker. It's all about analyzing the situation, understanding your opponents, and choosing the best approach for that specific moment.
Absolutely. And they provide a framework for doing just that, from concepts like CPR and CSI to the analysis of small ball and long ball to the deep dive into tells. Kill Everyone gives you the tools to break down the game and make more informed decisions.
And beyond the strategic elements, they also highlight the importance of the mental game tournaments.
The underling tournaments can be a grind. Alex and Kill Everyone gives you practical advice on how to prepare mentally and physically, from diet and supplements to mindfulness techniques to managing tilt.
It's about recognizing that poker is as much a mental battle as it is a test of skill. Now, one thing that really resonated with me is their discussion of playing against tough opponents, especially professionals, can be intimidating, but Kill Everyone offers strategies for neutralizing their edge and even turning the tables in your favor. Right? They emphasize understanding your opponent's tendencies, recognizing their strengths and weaknesses, and adjusting your game accordingly. And don't be afraid to apply pressure, even with weaker holdings. Sometimes aggression can force those tough opponents to make mistakes.
Exactly. Even the pros are human, Alex. They have tells, they make mistakes, and they can be tilted just like anyone else. So stay focused, play your A game, and don't back down from a challenge.
I love it. Kill Everyone is a book that not only teaches you how to win, but also how to think about the game at a deeper level. It's about understanding the psychology, the strategy, and the subtle nuances that make poker such a captivating and challenging game.
So if you're serious about improving your tournament game, Alex, Kill Everyone is an absolute must-read. It's packed with insights and practical advice that can help any player take their game to the next level.
And as we wrap up this episode, I want to leave you with a final thought from Kill Everyone. Throughout the book, they emphasize the importance of observation, analysis, and adaptation, but they also acknowledge the role of intuition and gut feeling in poker.
It's a fascinating balance, isn't it? The logical versus the instinctive.
So, Alex, the question for you is this. How do you strike the right balance between logic and instinct at the poker table?
It's a question every poker player grapples with. When do you trust your gut? When do you stick to the math? It's a constant balancing act, and while there's no easy answer, by studying the concepts in Kill Everyone, developing your observation skills, and becoming more aware of your own tendencies, you can start to develop a better feel for when to trust your intuition and when to rely on logic.
It's a journey of self-discovery, and Kill Everyone is a fantastic guide for that journey.
So Alex, get out there, study the book, put these concepts into practice, and most importantly, have fun at the tables.
Thank you for listening to the Romper Room podcast. Until next time.